Welcome back to this week's edition of the Risk Spotlight Operational Risk News Update. My name is Emily Jones, and today I'll be bringing you essential updates and insights from the world of operational risk, drawn from the past week. All information shared here is sourced from the Risk Spotlight portal, the premier forward-looking service dedicated to operational risk content. Let's get started. The first update is about preparing your workforce for the deepfake era. As we dive into the digital age, the threat of deepfakes is becoming increasingly prevalent. These AI-generated fake videos and audio clips are getting more sophisticated, making it harder to distinguish between what's real and what's not. In fact, a staggering 66% of cybersecurity professionals believe that deepfakes pose a significant risk to their organizations. Now, here's where it gets interesting. A recent survey points out that while 75% of organizations have some form of cybersecurity awareness training in place, only about 30% specifically address deepfakes. This gap in training is leaving many employees vulnerable to these high-tech deceptions. It's not just about recognizing deepfakes either. It's about understanding their potential impact on business operations, reputation, and even national security. Firms should adopt a multi-pronged approach. This includes educating employees about deepfake technology, teaching them how to spot potential fakes, and establishing clear protocols for verifying information. It's also crucial to create a culture of skepticism and critical thinking. By fostering an environment where employees feel comfortable questioning the authenticity of digital content, organizations can build a human firewall against deepfake attacks. Remember, in this new era of digital deception, your employees are your first line of defense. The next update is about the latest cybersecurity trends, focusing on ransomware and business email compromise (BEC) attacks. These two types of cyber incidents accounted for a whopping 60% of all incidents in the second quarter of 2024, according to a recent Cisco Talos report. The technology sector was hit hardest, making up 24% of incidents, a 30% increase from the previous quarter. Attackers seem to view tech firms as a gateway to other industries, including critical infrastructure. Other frequently targeted sectors included retail, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, and education. Diving deeper into the numbers, ransomware attacks made up 30% of Cisco Talos incident response team's engagements, showing a 22% increase compared to the first quarter. The report highlighted some interesting tactics used by ransomware groups like Underground Team, Black Suit, and Black Basta. These groups are getting creative, using valid tools to maintain persistence and move laterally within networks. One alarming statistic is that in 80% of ransomware engagements, proper multi-factor authentication, MFA, was lacking on critical systems like VPNs, making it easier for attackers to gain initial access. Now let's talk about BEC attacks, which also accounted for 30% of incidents in Q2 2024. This is actually a decrease from the previous quarter when it made up 50% of attacks. BEC attacks involve compromising legitimate business email accounts and using them for nefarious purposes. The attackers used various techniques, including smishing attacks via text messages and phishing emails sent to personal email addresses. In one clever move, attackers even created Microsoft Outlook mailbox rules to hide their activities. The report emphasizes the importance of proper security measures, with compromised credentials on valid accounts being the most common initial access method, making up 60% of attacks, a 25% rise from the previous quarter. The next update is about the rising threat of supply chain cyber attacks and how U.S. businesses can bolster their defenses. As companies undergo digital transformation to enhance efficiencies and agility, they increasingly rely on third-party suppliers. However, these partnerships expand their digital attack surfaces, making them more vulnerable to cyber threats. Recent high-profile breaches at companies like Okta and Home Depot have highlighted these risks. A State of Information Security report, surveying 1,526 information security professionals, found that managing third-party risks is the top challenge, cited by 37% of respondents. Alarmingly, about 75% of surveyed businesses reported supply chain-related security incidents, and 43% experienced partner data compromises in the past year. To counter these threats, businesses must adopt robust cybersecurity measures and leverage advanced technologies like generative AI. Despite 73% of organizations believing AI and machine learning can enhance data security, only 26% have implemented these technologies in the last year, and 36% plan to increase cybersecurity spending by up to 25% in the next year. The hesitancy stems from prioritizing other issues and concerns about AI's privacy implications. Adopting standards like ISO 42001 can help organizations ethically and securely deploy AI technologies, providing a structured framework to assure stakeholders and meet regulatory demands. The next update is about OSHA's groundbreaking proposal to introduce the first ever federal heat standard aimed at protecting workers from heat-related illnesses. This proposal is a significant step towards addressing the dangers posed by excessive heat in the workplace. According to OSHA, heat is the leading weather-related killer, and the new standard is designed to mitigate this risk by establishing comprehensive measures for employers. These measures include providing access to water, rest, and shade, as well as implementing heat acclimatization plans and training for workers and supervisors. The aim is to reduce the number of heat-related incidents and ensure a safer working environment, particularly for those in high-risk industries like agriculture and construction. In terms of statistics, OSHA has highlighted that between 2011 and 2019, there were 344 worker deaths and over 31,000 heat-related injuries and illnesses. The proposed rule is expected to have a significant impact, potentially saving lives and reducing the number of heat-related health issues among workers. The proposal also includes provisions for monitoring heat conditions, planning for emergencies, and ensuring that workers are aware of the symptoms of heat-related illnesses. As average temperatures are rising globally, similar regulations may also be adopted in other countries in the coming months. Now let me provide a quick update on key operational risk loss events that were reported in the media last week. This past week has been buzzing with updates from the significant global IT disruption caused by CrowdStrike's faulty IT software update. On July 19, 2024, CrowdStrike experienced a critical IT outage that affected approximately 8.5 million Windows devices globally. The incident began when CrowdStrike released a faulty sensor configuration update containing a logic error. CrowdStrike had identified and reverted the problematic update within 1 hour and 18 minutes on the 19th July, but the damage was already widespread. The outage primarily impacted Windows 10 and later versions, causing system crashes and the infamous blue screen of death. Recent analysis by independent experts revealed that the issue stemmed from an unverified supporting resource used by the driver rather than a corrupted driver itself, causing Windows to perceive the driver as corrupt during boot. The financial impact of the outage has been staggering, with estimates suggesting losses of $1 to $3 billion USD for affected businesses. Major airlines like Delta and United faced significant disruptions. The recovery process has been particularly challenging for organizations using BitLocker full disk encryption, as it prevented easy deployment of fixes without access to unique decryption keys. In response to the incident, CrowdStrike has promised to implement new checks to avoid future outages, including more rigorous testing procedures. The company has also offered a $10 gift card to affected IT workers as a gesture of goodwill, though this may seem inadequate given the scale of the disruption. The next significant loss event update from last week involves cyber attack on several major Russian banks. Banks including VTB, Russian Agricultural Bank, and Gazprom Bank reported experiencing distributed denial-of-service DDoS attacks that temporarily disrupted their online services and mobile apps. Ukraine's military intelligence claimed responsibility for these attacks. And there you have it, a whirlwind tour of last week's operational risk landscape. If you want to read more about the topics I have covered and review additional content on emerging operational risk topics, then please log into the Risk Spotlight portal if you are a subscriber, or go to RiskSpotlight.com to sign up for a free trial. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, stay safe and keep those risks in check.